Hey, what's up, y'all? Let me make sure that the microphone is on. My voice is still kind of cracking. Uh, I had to come up in here. Oh, and I'm not feeling too good. I am not feeling too good. Ate some food that's a little too greasy, and I just see that I just can't eat certain things no more. I'm of that age where I just can't eat certain things no more. Not feeling at my best, but wait, hold on. Give me a second, y'all. I'm just making sure that this microphone is on. Let me refresh. Wait, hold on. Give me a sec. Okay, okay, great. You can hear me loud and clear. Yeah. Well, first, let me before I get into what I want to talk about. Um, man, it's one after another. Another person has passed. Ironically, I was just talking about these actors who are playing these roles, these villainous roles. Where I feel like, yeah, I don't know. I was just talking about and watching something on what was that? The one from he was the one who pulled the trigger. What's his name? Was it Lloyd Wright or Lloyd Avery? He was in Boys in the Hood. Yeah, he was in the movie Boys in the Hood. He was also like the Trigger Man and Poetic Justice, taking out Q-Tip's character. And it's really, really eerie, the whole thing behind his life and especially death. But this is another actor who I didn't quite know his name. We used to refer to him as partner. Let me do the screen share. Yeah, how you doing, Fran Brown? How you doing? Oh, he just in the '90s you had these actors that just seemed like people you knew, especially in these hood movies. Like I knew somebody like him, and I knew like they just got these brothers like just straight up off the streets, like straight from the hood. It just gave them roles because they did seem a little more like I remember when they would have the films in the '80s. Like okay, for instance, when you think of movies like Breaking and understand at the time when Breaking came out, even though I was a kid, I was hanging with b-boys on the north side of Chicago, but I couldn't really relate, but we were just so happy just to see the culture, the hip-hop culture on screen. But it wasn't really relatable, it didn't seem, even though come to find out, surprisingly, Adolfo Quinones, aka Shabba-Doo, aka Ozone, come to find out he was actually from Chicago, from Cabrini Green. It was a Soul Train dancer. It was from Chicago. I found it, and from my birthplace, Cabrini Green, in fact, before moving to California, and being on Soul Train and everything. Once, also after Soul Train moved to California. But I remember watching Break. It was kind of unrealistic, especially if we talking Break Into Electric Boogaloo. I really couldn't relate. But we were just so happy just but '90s, I'm not gonna lie, it did seem like you did like I know him, Pookie, Ray Ray. It did seem like I was talking about because I didn't know that this guy, what was that guy? And I can't remember this actor's name. But he was in the wood. No, no, no. Yeah, yeah, he was in the wood and he was like a young kid on get on the oh gosh, and see I can't think of his name. Like I didn't know that he had committed an act of he actually did unalive someone. I had no idea. I can't think of the actor's name. Oh my gosh. Well, I never really knew the actor's name. He was in the wood. He was like playing this like yeah yeah like what else was he in? I can't think of that actor's name. Um, yeah, I found out he was married at one time to Lila Rochon. Yeah. Yeah. I think they met on the set of Lionel Richie's All Night Long video. I think Lila Rashawn was like 19 at that time. I didn't even realize till years later that she was the girl that Lionel Richie pulled out. Beautiful Lila Rashawn. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's from, yeah, Adolfo and his sister. They were both from Chicago. Yeah, from Korea. And they happen to be there. I don't know why. I should ask my brothers. Did they know Adolfo Quinones? I'm going to just say Ozone. Yeah, because he was obviously still in Cabrini Green around the time my family was there, you know? So I'm wondering, did they? But you gotta understand, Cabrini Green was really, really large. It was really, it was a whole, it was a whole. It could have been a city within a city. Cabrini Green itself. So yeah, you could have people that was in the projects and you never ever even met them. Yeah, that was surprising, but but yeah, the '90s, like it's like I knew somebody like this dude. This sad, but I never knew his name. And the other actor, I can't think of. Now he's still alive, but so ironically, I just like 2 days ago saw something when him was at a Vlad TV interview. Even though I don't like clicking into Vlad stuff. I had no idea that this guy actually had did time, and I know that he was having some issues. I remember it was a video because I remember L Dot from the black sector. He had a video kind of making fun of him. Remember he used to do these YouTube tears, and I kind of felt bad for him, but I didn't know that he actually did commit an act of, unaliving like his aunties. Oh gosh, who's that actor from the Wood? He was in the Wood. He's playing old girl. You see, I'm saying old girl because I can't remember these actors' names. So many great actors that we just never really quite know that. Like even old girl Ronnie from the Players Club, like she was underrated. I felt she was a great actress. I felt she was underrated. But I can't. I don't know her name. I can't think of her name. I think she should have been in more stuff. Ronnie from the Players Club. She was like somebody I knew. Like. But I can't remember. And so this was another actor here. I never quite knew his name, but we used to call him partner. Whenever we described him, because he was like, a partner. So me and my friends, we called him partner. We never knew his name though. Man, but this is really sad. This is really sad. Yeah, they saying after meningitis. Now I know my grandma lost a son. Of course, it's way. I definitely wasn't born. My grandmother had like 11 kids total. One of her sons, when he was like only a child, this is when my mama and her siblings they were still children, but died of meningitis, I believe. So I know that it's really serious. And ironically, no, y'all may not want to hear this, but I know like Azure TV and y'all may not care to hear this, but ain't that what somebody was just coming up in here? That person who was claiming with the mulatto pixie, you know, came up in here posting to me, and they've been tagging me with some stuff. I know they've also tagged your name as well, Fran Brown, saying that the mulatto pixie, ain't that what they said that she's? I don't know what to believe. I'm like, could this be mulatto pixie's channel? Could this be? I don't know what to believe. Because for one, I didn't even really told it. I wasn't even fully convinced that was a real person. I was thinking it's some Karen computer. Yeah, ain't that ironic? That's ironic, ain't it, Fran? Yeah, that's just what that person said that she supposedly was serious. Of course, I don't wish that on nobody. What? No, not L dot. No, not from the sector. I'm still mad at you. I still, no. We still. No, I know that's not L dot. Let me see. I gotta go to the channel. I don't even believe that's you. No way. Hold on. Yo, you know what? I needed the roasting. I needed Oh yeah, that's you all right. That's you all right. Well, how you doing? Anyway, how you doing, brother? I heard, yeah, there's been some tragedies over there. I'm really, my condolences because I know that yeah, I heard that there was, we ain't mad. Okay, all right, if you say so. No, it's okay. I needed that. I needed that. I'm gonna tell you, I needed that. But on a serious tip, yeah, I heard, yeah, that Nutwork passed, and also, yeah, I don't wish that on nobody. And my condolences for real. And I heard that female Tiffany, despite my feelings, I don't wish that on nobody for real. But that just goes to show that, life this is really serious. Like I just call myself now, like, like my daughter hooked me up with a burger and stuff, and I am so sick now. And you get at a certain age, you just, it ain't even about vanity and all that anymore. I just can't eat certain things. You just can't. You cannot. I'm like, actually, I just took some Pepto Bismol. Things that I just thought I could eat and get away with, it's just not happening. It's not sitting with me. Yeah, Eddie Kane, and man, And even though, yeah, he was older, but I still didn't expect that. Yeah, yeah. Me and Garwin was talking about it. I don't think nothing. Wherever he never said nothing to me or even about me. I don't think. I don't think he liked me. Because of my perhaps because of my association with you. You know, yeah. I don't wish that. Despite my feelings on old girl, what's her name, Cat. Yeah, that's terrible. I don't wish, and especially when I looked into after finding out and I looked into the details of what happened. That's well, let me not out because I don't want to tap into nothing. That's terrible because I've heard a couple of people over there that were part of the sect that passed away. Like, oh my gosh, but that's just yeah. That's just really, huh? Did you see what I said about you? Know who channel's name? No, no, I haven't seen. What did I see? What in this chat room? Did you see what I said about whose channel's names? Let me see. Are you saying in the comment? Okay, let me see. I did believe the. Yeah, I don't know what to. Yeah, I noticed that. Right, they changed, the channel of the mulattoes. I don't know if you saw that Azure TV. They probably because I don't think they tagged your name, whoever that person is. I don't know if but they changed the channels of what was I guess Hybrid Vegas channels. At least a lot of those channels, they've changed it because I was like, of course I'm curious. Let me check out, from what I remember his channel names. And it seems as if, and when I look in the history, those are the channels that were like Hybrid Vigors, right? When I look through my history, and it looked like either it's been hijacked or yeah, or maybe Mulata Pixie, whoever was behind the Mulata Pixie account, that tells me that whoever that person was Mulata Pixie, that tells me that they perhaps set up those channels for Hybrid Vigor because yeah, that wouldn't be surprising because he wasn't able to do all that AI stuff before that, you know. But not let me not dwell on that too much. But it is kind of, yeah, it's kind of creepy. Me just being told that somebody who's trolling me in YouTube is now like really, really seriously ill from meningitis, and then I'm just, you know, because I know that's serious. Yeah, yeah, I don't know what's going on. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, that's another reason. And even before that, I've been like kind of tagged to some things. First, I was trying to ignore, but of course, you're gonna get curious at one point to see what the hell's going on. Yeah, there's a lot going on over in I guess what you can say, what was the melatosphere and golden sphere and all that. But I realize that it's not healthy for me to keep looking. So, because when I keep looking, I find myself wanting to respond, and I know that I'm one who ends up responding to things on impulse. Yeah. So rest in peace. You come to find out this guy had children. Yeah, it's E News right here. I'm telling you, like, I feel like though when you take on roles like this, like when you think of what happened with that guy, that was in the one who pulled the trigger in Boys and because he was doing too many of those roles. And they said that he wasn't this criminal or almost like characters become manifest, just like we talk about demonic energy, just like with what was it with the dude with the Dark Knight who ended up taking his life or what was the actor name? Now it seemed like from what I've seen here, it looked like he Samuel Monroe Jr. I never knew his name. We just called him Partner. But he was always like typecast, even though he don't look like, because he was terrible in the Players Club. Oh, he was bad in the Players. I think of all the roles, it was hard for me to feel, with Minister Society. Yeah, he was bad, but they did. I couldn't feel sorry for. I know, am I wrong? I could not feel sorry for what was his name? Trey. I mean, what was his name in the main character, Minister Society? I couldn't really feel bad. Of course, I don't want anybody taken out, but I couldn't really feel bad for his character. That's why I didn't really like that movie, Menace to Society. And, you know, people I know that that's one of those like classics that you know your friends and stuff watch over and over and have on. Like my family, I ain't gonna lie, had it on VHS and you know people watch. And I just never really felt right with that movie. For one, I was mad. I was like, why the dude that was trying to get him out of the hood, the one that had converted his life to the Nation of Islam and everything, that was with Charles S. Dutton, Rock's kid, you know, being mentored by him. Why did he have to die? That's what I was more mad about. Like, why did he have to die? And then I was like, why did Lorenz Tate, if it wasn't for the movie The Inkwell and eventually Love Jones, I would have probably seriously hated Lorenz Tate. Because he was so bad to me in Menace to Society. Like when he took out the crackhead, oh my gosh. And you know I have loved ones who became addicted to crack. When he took out that, he was so bad. And even with the Asian couple, you know, he was so bad. Like that young Gen Xer that just don't give a fuck. One of them types. Little hotheads, just straight destructive. But he ended up surviving. I was like, why he gotta survive? Why how he gonna survive? But I was like, why did well, I'm glad that the child, at least the child and Jada Pinkett, at least at least the child survived. But it was hard for me to feel sorry because when dude had confronted him over his sister, him getting his sister pregnant, and they gonna stomp him out like that, you know, black folks gonna make everything. They did. Don't be drinking your gin. Oh yeah, he was in that movie too, partner. They were, yeah, old dog was a devil. I was like, how he gonna survive? How you doing, Coco? How? Like, how the hell he gonna survive? Like, that movie made me mad. That movie, I'm sorry. That's one of the movies I didn't need to watch again. And like friends of mine watching that over. Uh-uh. Yeah, even though Boys in the Hood was just as traumatized, and I could watch that again. But Menace to Society, that just was death. That was just, you know, and like with his character, I'm not saying that, you retaliate necessarily by taking out people, but they did like stomp him and everything like that. But see, the thing is, a child could have got unalived. Look at me saying unalived. I'm telling you, and he kind of looked like my ex from the '90s. But my ex was bigger for the '90s. Yeah, and he was like my age. So yeah, but you see here, because I could say, because he actually had the dimples and stuff, so you can see that. But who's that one other actor I'm thinking of? And yeah, come to find out he had kids and everything. He had sons, so that's really sad. Yeah, partner. Man, I'm telling you. It's like I do dudes like him. So it's like, man, I was already told by a friend of mine that a friend we had passed away from cancer. I've been told recently. So damn, it's crazy. A lot of people from my generation, because he's like my age, a lot of people from my generation, it's really, really sad the way that we pass, and these aren't necessarily overweight people. These aren't, and even though like Eddie, the actor, see I'm saying Michael Wright, who played Eddie Kane Jr., even though he was a baby boomer in what 70 years, I still, I wouldn't have expected him to, even though I did know about him being sick. I did know about him being, man, that's sad. Yeah. And yeah, they with the clip I showed with, said, yeah, it's really sad hearing that his wife, yeah, that she was by his side and everything, holding his hand as he took his last breath. This is really, really sad. So you can see, yeah, oh man, I gotta call my niece. And he did kind of look like my ex in the '90s. And you can see, like, he had that smile and them dimples. So you can see that he wasn't really like those characters. Whereas with some of them actors, yeah, it did make you wonder, like like that one that pulled the trigger in Boys in the Hood. He was just, but he was kind of typecast because he was. Let me see. Yeah, also he was a bad guy. He was villain and Set It Off too. The initial, yeah, that took out Jada Pinkett's brother. It was him, right? It's been years since I watched the movies. I can't really tolerate movies like that no more. But then he was the one who took out Jada Pinkett's brother and Set It Off, or he set him up. He set him up. That's what it was. He set it. He set him up where the cops ended up taking him out. Yeah, but I think he was the worst in the Players Club. The Players Club, I think he was the worst. Terrence Howard, he used to be. Now, when we were talking about colorism and talking about, I felt like with, because they said they wanted for Old Dog a dark, that's what Lorenz Tate said, like they wanted. But I heard also, though, Tupac was supposed to have been considered, but what went down with the Hughes brothers and, Tupac being the hothead he was. But supposedly Lorenz Tate said in a recent interview that they had wanted someone dark skinned um, for the role, and that's why I felt one of the reasons I felt that Michael Wright was kind of typecast, and not just being dark skinned, but I think also with his face, him having this like narrow face, and but I always felt too that now Terrence Howard, he was typecast, and I know. Yeah, like that light skinned dude in the hood that you be scared of. That's why I was also saying, and yes, I'm not gonna be shying away from talking about colorism. We black folks here, we should be able to talk about this without feeling it, if you know where I'm coming from. But I felt that Terrence Howard initially, even though I first remember Terrence Howard from Sparks, and he became like one of my favorite actors at one point. Terrence Howard, I think he's really, really, really good. I think he's been blackballed though. If I'm to use that term, I think it has to do with the whole thing with what went down with the Marvel film and Robert Downey Jr. I'm just saying. I think that Terrence Howard has been blackballed. That's my opinion. Yeah, but Terrence Howard, yeah, initially he was being typecast to play these. Yeah, but he kind of played him so well. I liked him in The Best Man, or became my favorite The Best Man. But yeah, he would. But people don't remember he was initially on this BET show, Sparks. I don't know if anybody remembers Sparks, but that's what I first remember him from. But in the movies, like I remember the scene in Dead Presidents, he kept on triggering, provoking Lorenz Tate. Like Lorenz Tate, he didn't understand. This dude, he was a whole different person. Just came back from Vietnam, and he poking at him, and yeah, he ended up beating the hell out of him with the the pool stick. Yeah, you remember Sparks? Yes, with James Avery. Yep, that was before. That was like one of wasn't that like a BET original sitcom? They tried it. Like I remember it was a sitcom with Gladys Knight, and it had Jaleel White who became Steve Urkel. This was like yeah, before Family Matters. It was like late '80s when BET. Yeah, I believe BET would have these little sitcoms. Yep, Sparks with James Avery. Oh, who's acting unwell? Terrence Howard? I'm gonna be real with you. Y'all may not agree with me on this, and even if I don't really study with Jehovah's Witnesses, I do feel that he's in. I'm gonna just tell you what I believe with Terrence Howard. I believe that he's kind of in conflict, kind of similar to the conflict that I was having. I think he's in a kind of, eh, I don't want to say religious, but like a spiritual conflict. I think that's what's going on. That's what's been going on with Terrence Howard. That's just my opinion. And I know that he was like married to his wife. Well, I think him, I do feel that, and I'm gonna just say this, who was the mother of his kids, he should have, being that she was more of a devout, like Jehovah's Witness. And I think he's in conflict. That's just like a spiritual conflict. I think he's been going through that. That's just my opinion. I won't go into detail on that if you're talking about Terrence Howard. But yeah, they used to, for a minute, they would typecast Terrence Howard in them roles. And I do think you got to be careful playing some of them roles. Like them characters can become manifest. Now, Samuel Jackson, he was able to just really fluctuate. And yeah, like who knew that the guy who was playing the crackhead robber in Coming to America, hold up, I used to laugh about that. Eddie Murphy, talk about, I will be forced to thrash you. Man, he would have been got shot. So, I seen him coming to him. Who would have thought the guy that was he was also a crackhead, and he actually was dealing with addiction at that time in Jungle Fever. My mom used to get really sad at that part where they were kind of taking it. I learned from Marvin what happened with as Garwin explained to me with Marvin Gaye. But who knew that he would have been like the highest paid actor, become the highest paid actor going into the 2000s? Or at least the highest paid black actor, but he's one of the highest paid actors. But I remember, like, yeah, Samuel L. Jackson, he's one of them actors, even though he made me mad in his little defense of Eminem. And I got a question with the little performance, They Not Like Us. What I question with that. But he's one of them actors, and you don't get mad at him. I remember he was evil something in Pulp Fiction. Like, do I got your attention now? Like, damn. But then he'll do a movie like Amos and Andy. Do y'all remember Amos and Andrew? What was that in the 90s? Where with Nicolas Cage? I don't know if anybody remember that. Where he was being like kind of profiled or yeah, they didn't it was his home, he was playing an author. The way that Samuel Jackson he could do these roles of characters that you hate, but you still love them. We still can't hate Samuel Jackson. He could go from playing this character to that. You know how? Oh, you ain't watch my streams. Nah, I believe. Yeah, it's about what I believe. I believe that there is a whole agenda behind the whole. But I know y'all like Azure, y'all ain't gonna agree with me. But I talked about it. Look at. I think the video or the live stream was only for an hour. I kind of talk about it in a live stream. Hold on. I did. And you can see yeah, it's about what I believe, my theory behind the Not Like Us. Believe that there's something more to that. Look, I put my name, the sheet for you and everything, and you see, my video still don't come up. I got to go right to okay, here we go. Not Like Us equals not FBA equals propaganda. I kind of talk, and it's under an hour. The last time I did, it's under an hour. This is just, I got a little theory. When I think about it, Samuel Jackson, he was the first kind of talking about how, he was like one of the first actors I heard, black actors, making a statement on how you have these black American, or what Tariq Nasheed would call non-FBA black actors taking the roles of black American actors. He was one of the first. I remember, and I gave what he said some consideration, but I didn't see it as that big a deal. And then I was like, okay, I can see, them making a certain point, like in the case of Harriet Tubman being played by that actress, especially considering what she said about, being that she said some things that were not very favorable of black Americans. But then now I look at things like, okay, I'm not saying that, I don't know. I just don't know what to, because at first I thought maybe he's making a point that should be given consideration. Right. But right. Am I right? Am I wrong? He was like one of the first black actors to publicly. Now we've had actors to speak on how we got these. Like I remember in the '90s, there were complaints that there are these hip hop, artists who are taking roles of like trained actors, lesbians, people who were trained actors. That's why with the director, Stanley, not Stanley, but the director of, it wasn't that they said that was a cousin of Spike Lee. Yeah, the one guy who directed The Best Man. That's why he purposely made sure to only cast, uh, you know, actors, trained actors, for The Best Man, and give them lead roles at a time where now you got all these actors like Ice Cube and, now I remember hearing those complaints, and I, yeah, but I mean that's always been. You've always have those who were initially singers like Judy Garland, and eventually going over into acting. That's been happening. But I understand, especially what a lot of the black actors were saying in the '90s, especially considering that we don't have that many parts offered to us, and when they're now being, and that kind of really began. That really was the thing happening after Ice Cube was in Boys in the Hood, and he was so convincing, as Doughboy, and Queen Latifah in that little short part in Jungle Fever. It was so impressive. Yeah, that's when they really start like going to actors, and I mean going to rappers and hip hop artists, and he was being all on the TV shows. You remember? You see it, and oh yeah, and of course Tupac with Juice. Yeah. Oh, and see, when I talk about, you got to be careful with the roles. These actors need to be careful with some of the roles. Tupac and Juice. My best friend, she still don't like Tupac, even after his death. He was so, I don't, I don't give. He was so convincing, and it was like after he did that film, he was getting in trouble. But now I know more. Yeah, she had a little short part in Jungle Fever, and it was really, yeah. Jungle Fever came out like 1990, I believe, around the same time as Boys in the Hood, and that, yeah, she was really, really just that little short part. Remember when he took the white woman, his Italian woman, he took her into a soul food restaurant, and my mama was agreeing with Queen Latifah character. How he gonna bring this white woman to a soul food restaurant? Come on now, brother. And this ain't your wife. Yeah, Tupac, he played that part. Yeah. Oh, you looked at the channel? Yeah. Like, what the hell? At least with that, what was the mulattoes? And so I don't know what to think. I really don't know what to think. What if that's, I don't know if that, like, I'm thinking that might be whoever Mulatto Pixie is. Maybe she's just mad at him, and because I know that you remember what I showed you, friend, with now that might as well talk about it with Jennifer. Oh wait, this ain't even what I was supposed to talk about. The well. I'm supposed to be talking about Big Brother. I got y'all. But remember what I showed you, friend Brown, with with the American Idol reject. Did I show you? I recall showing you behind the scenes. Some, no, I ain't never been with. But I recall showing you how she go take over a guy's Facebook, and she's posting. I have a relative that did something like that. Posted talking about, posted what her husband posted in place of him. And I showed you, yeah, she took over his Facebook, like her husband or maybe his ex-husband now, talking about, oh, I'm gay, I don't like women. And then the guy, her real husband, he ended up checking her from another page because she took over his page, and his family members or his friends like, "What? Are you okay?" So we got some crazy people. Uh-oh, he's saying first hypothesis. Yeah, I don't do the Discord no more, but it is, yeah, it does make kind of like, what's your theory behind the scenes? Hybrid is doing this to get it. Yeah, I'm kind of wondering. Yeah, it's this is creepy. This is weird. Like I don't know what to believe. Second hypothesis, he got hacked. Yeah, that's also what I'm thinking. That's but I've noticed. But what if they make? What if she was the one who set up that channel for him, and they got a hold of her software? I don't know what to believe. And Fran Brown, you said that you heard Mulatto Pixie's voice because I never really thought that was a real person. I kind of didn't believe that. You saying I don't know. You say he been inactive for about a month. I don't even know because I just totally blocked. When I finally learned how to permanently block from my, I had to do it from my phone to block his channel because it was crazy the way that I was getting tagged. It was like, and I didn't know how to turn this shit off. And I realized you got to go through your phone. Yeah, I noticed they, and they know about this, but I noticed they're being hush hush, over there. They're being hush hush about that. Like, what if we were supporting someone who was a trafficker or whatever? But I noticed they're being very hush hush about that. Any other time, they'd be ready for the tea, wouldn't they? But they kind of being hush hush about that, it seems, from what I peep. Yeah, no, this is the stuff y'all was. These are the people y'all was supporting and encouraging. Crazy people, crazy as cat shit. But no, seriously though, if that is the case, if it is the case of somebody being like, cause meningitis, yeah, I just, I only knew, my grandmother had a son. It would have been like 11th son, but this is when they were all children. My grandma's first marriage of children that died. It was like what 5 years old or something from meningitis. Um, yeah, so I know that that's very very serious. So if that is the case, then no, of course I don't want that to happen to nobody. Um, but yeah, yeah, you said you heard a voice, and Brielle sounded. I remember that name, the Brielle. I remember seeing that name like posting amongst, and I got all the response. I still got I just shut down that one channel, but when I was like responding, that's why I would respond to the stuff like live. I do recall the name Brielle, but I don't know. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I was tagged in that. Oh gosh. Oh please. Ain't nobody even been thinking about them. Ain't nobody even been considering him to even do that. Yeah, hey Royale. But yeah, thank you for bringing yes something to consider because you never know with these people. 'Cause I know you know that they've done stuff like make troll accounts, even make it look like they are dissing themselves, and I believe they still doing that. They make channels troll. It was just a joke. No, you just got caught. You didn't think you were gonna get caught. No, everybody else took it as a joke. No, I don't take it as a joke. You talking about I'm in night making threats? No, hell no. You ain't joking with me like that. If they crazy enough to make troll channels, even pretending to diss themselves and their own friends, that just tells you what we're dealing with here. Yeah, like, oh, it's just a joke. No, no, no. You just got caught. You got caught. And even try to make it like you're dissing yourself. That right there don't tell you. Now, what person, especially at our age, would do that? That right there, that tells me that these people, their capacity for lying. Just like I had, showed you, like witnessing with Smiles and Facebook hijacking her husband's channel or her husband's Facebook, lying on him, and then him having to from another channel come and check her, got her family, got the man's family believing, like not knowing what's going on. Right, exactly. And that video, and why you take, you could have, she could have just took the picture, that video with the way my hair was looking crazy with the things. You could have like joked on me looking crazy, looking like a granny. You could have joked on that. And that was a video I wasn't even talking about. I was talking to Shorty Wump Wump about, you should do trying to, crafting. I really like. So you take that video and take that image of me, you know, now you could have used that, so that's hell me. And to say I'm up late at night making threats, oh hell no. Do you know all the stuff I could have? Especially you are encouraging a person to a point where they're showing their gun, they're showing their supposed weapons. They could have. Okay, let me leave it alone. Let me leave it alone. Let me leave it alone. Do you know? And I still got all the receipts on. Do you know? The stuff that you were encouraged. He even has a video saying that they came to him. What, you know what I'm talking about? Now let's say, see, if I was one, because there's other people who would do that, and then you go and never was no apology about the whole CPS thing. Still was going on with that. Still was running with that. But see, I'm not. I do consider other people's kids, even though they would not consider mine. Yeah, I got I got I downloaded all of that. I downloaded all of that just in case. Yeah, she's saying, put a little part. I guess I'm supposed to take it as a joke. The she for you up at night making threats. Yeah, that's what she. Now of all the things you could have joked and talked about how I look, anything like that, but you're trying to put in the minds of people that I'm the type to threaten people. You already spread this lie that I had because they were actually leaving. We need to flag her shit down, and yeah, their little followers responding with the little CPS lie. But I got the receipts on all of that. See, and there's things that I can't overlook, but when you cross a certain line. Yeah, that's and even making, making the little Karen's daughter reference. In other words, I have not Becky's daughter, but Karen's daughter. In other words, don't think I won't lie on you if I have to. Making the little Karen's daughter's references to people. I pick up on that shit. And I made sure, but that ain't even what I wanted to talk about. Oh, but I had to respond, make a little community tab, because I'm like, what? Whoa, okay, so we don't want, oh, we won't let, yeah, like, ain't that something? But anyways, what I'm really up in here, and I know y'all don't know what I'm talking about. Hey, I'm totally off track, but y'all know y'all don't know what I'm talking about, and I'm gonna keep this up. And I want to, yeah, I dare you to call yourself respond to me. Because I know they're trying to have a whole new clean for the new people who don't know about their history. Yeah, they don't want that put out there. But because we grifters be grifting, shapeshifters shifting. But um, of course they keep it real. They're the realest up in here, of course, yeah, of course. But anyways, what I'm up in here about, and I know now that I got your attention, but no, I can't watch. I don't have anybody watching, at least that's following my channel, Big Brother and Survivor. I've been really, really concerned about these two sisters that's been pretty much isolated on the show, especially the younger one, Taylor. Even though I'm kind of living vicariously through Latrice, who's kind of become like a hero-like character to me, because yeah, she's had some of the issues similar to what I've had. Like I had the X-ray with my shoulder, the rotary cuff, because I've been having like issues with my shoulder. They call it rotary cuff. Yeah, so she's had surgeries, this, and that. The sister you see, Lala Latrice, and she was with Sounds of Blackness, and she's on Big Brother now. and also she's had the issues with her hip, with her knee, with her. But she's actually had surgeries. I haven't. I haven't had no surgery. But yeah, but she's on there walking around the house. And yeah, she ended up making history. I talked about it. She ended up making history. Did one of the hardest challenges. What they claim is the hardest challenge. Big Brother. I haven't been watching. This is the second season of Big Brother I've watched. So I'm kind of like playing vicariously through her. But I've been talking about how she and the other sister, they've been isolated on the show. And a lot of people are seeing this. You see, this is from a TikTok where the guy's saying, Dwight got doing the video, the house versus Taylor and Lala. And these women haven't done anything wrong. They're not. But I was worried about Taylor going home. I was worried. Oh, and remember I was talking about yeah, see y'all, that's the thing. You're not gonna know what I'm talking about. Yeah, she was in Sounds of Black. She okay. I don't know if she was like a regular singer, but she is in. I had showed in the Hold On, Change is Coming. Yeah, come to find out, I didn't know this at first watching, but they now mentioned yeah. Uh, Hold on. Yeah, here she go. Yeah, she's 58 years old. She's hoping to be the oldest winner of Survivor. I was worried. I was worried. Yeah, there are people speaking on, because I'm at the point, if I was worried about the girl Taylor getting voted off today. They just had the live. Yeah, here she go. Here she go, La La. But yeah, she's like 58, walking around, and come to find out she had 4 kids. And she talk about the surgery she's had. She had a surgery for this and that. And she in the greatest shape of her life. She been working out. And she's showing out, showing she can squat and all that. The things that I have most difficulty doing. And I'm like, go. And she beat all of these people. What was it, like 10 other people? Even younger people. Muscular people, And everybody was celebrating. They still didn't vote her. The America still didn't give her a vote. Each week they have like America's favorite where they get to go into the time capsule for a chance at getting a power up or whatever. And they have not voted her yet. Even though she's just made history as being the oldest person beating, at this really, really hard physical challenge. Yeah, that's her on the left. Wait, here she goes. Yeah, I see people up in there. Look, you see me, my post. I see you, Latrice, Lala, and rest in peace, Roger. Roger Troutman. So I don't know if she was just like an extra. Yeah, there she go. Go ahead. And see, they didn't have her cooking it. Let me tell you, she been cooking and cleaning, her and the girl Taylor. And she been the main one cooking. They've been the only ones they have in this house filthy. And they all up at Lipstick Alley talking. That's the only reason I don't really go to because Lipstick Alley is kind of mean. But I have to go to Lipstick Alley because I come from the message forum days when we used to come up in here talking about and I kind of so that's the closest I could get to these discussions of because I don't watch these other reality shows everybody else is talking about. So I guess I got to go to Lipstick Alley, and they be. For opinion, just something from a blacker perspective, right? Even though I know Lipstick Alley is full of people, especially that couldn't be in the colorism sector. Now I remember they talking about exoticals and all that. Did they close that topic on that? But yeah, they got a little too with the color, and then I don't even suspect that they're all black over there. I think that there's some people posing, but I do go over here and discussing Survivor because whenever I come up in here talking about Survivor, nobody's here to talk about it with me. Like, but even on the days of the message forums, I don't remember. Like, we would come and talk about America's Next Top Model. We definitely were talking about Flavor of Love, but nobody was really talking about Survivor. Like, as if not that many black people watch Survivor, even though it's a big hit show. And come to find out, Big Brother has been on just as long as Survivor, and yet this is just my second season watching it. But I'm older. I'm not working outside the home now, so. Let's just say it kind of mean. I'm being too nice. Well, yeah, for what I peaked that years ago. I remember when our message forum initially shut down and all that, and Juicy Fruity was trying to, she was telling me to, be at Lipstick Alley. So I made an account. I probably could still log in. I had made an initial account, Lashif, same name, Lashif for you. Um, yeah, I got some now, but I'm just like only lurking. I'm not gonna post. But I think I probably could still. Yeah, I tried it, but I realized. Plus, it's just women. I mean, I do like a co-ed environment. You know what I'm saying? And then I know they talk about colorism like a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. It's like it can be like on anything. Like I noticed when I was last speaking on the exotic, they got things. So is Aaliyah? Is she not considered like oh my god, like this is not how we used to have these discussions. This is ridiculous now. It seemed like it's some exoticals or something over there in Lipstick. Like yeah, the stuff that they debate. I'm sorry, I'm from a different generation. We didn't dissect all of that. Leah was just black. We didn't look at all that the way that people are looking at stuff now. Yeah, we know that there may be admixture down the line, but we just didn't look at stuff all like that. So I can't get with them discussions because the little nitpicking of this, and that, and, you know, and then I think they, and even with the discussions on the reality shows, I see that they are very, very quick to scrutinize, even though they support the black contestants, but they're very, very critical because like they're getting mad at Lala. They support Lala, but they getting mad at her and for why y'all still cooking and cleaning for these. So they can be kind of harsh and critical, but I understand there's some people they just can't be in no filthy house like that. You know, even though supposedly this last week they tried to be on strike and not cooking clean. And then the other contestants got the nerve to say, Lala ain't been cleaning the bath. She didn't clean the bathroom like she usually, or Taylor didn't clean the bathroom as she usually would. Getting mad, then why don't you do it? Like they expect us to do that. Yeah, she's just a light skinned black woman. Yeah, I'm sure there's something down the line. That's what a lot of black Americans. But that who was nobody was even looking and thinking all into that stuff. Hey, that's the thing. How you thinking of stuff you just wasn't even thinking about that deep. And obviously, it's like it make me wonder. Are these real black people? Like, why did we discuss stuff like this in this manner? Like yeah. I mean, we didn't even look at stuff like that. Well, I don't know. I just found I could, and plus I like a more co-ed kind of. Yeah, I remember Juicy Fruity was trying to get me. This was years ago. This is years ago. Like what was it? Because Lipstick Alley been around. It's the last of the message boards to really. That's I guess you could say Black message board. I don't know if Black Planet is. I couldn't get with Black Planet either. Black Planet it was too big. I kind of like things to be a little exclusive. Black Planet it was just too big for me. I don't even know if that's still around. But the main message forms was BET.com, and then when they hijacked that, and now it's no longer. Um, but it was mainly AOL Black Voices. That's where I knew Garwin, Juicy Fruity. That was the main place that we was at. And they end up taking that over whenever things get to, yeah, too many of us coming together talking about things. When did it start going down? With it, definitely the end of it was around the time of right before the Trayvon Martin incident. Yeah, I couldn't. I made a page and everything, but it was just too big. It was too many. I don't know. It's almost like I get like this fear of too many people. Like if I think too many people on my channel, like oh, I gotta. Like I know how I felt when I was doing the verses, and I had never seen 1,000 people watching my live stream at one time, and it really made me uncomfortable. I if I see, it's like we want more views, but like if I'm seeing a live stream and if it's way more people viewing, I can't explain it. I do prefer it being kind of exclusive. Of course, we all do these videos and stuff for views, but if I could just choose only these people looking at, I would prefer that. As crazy as that sounds. Now, there are certain videos I do definitely want more people to see and get the message out. Right, right. That's not, it was like too big. Like it was just like too big where I felt like, not to say that I want this country club, and that was the downfall of AOL Black Voices. You did start getting this cliquish, like they part of a country club. They had this little thing, Panks, because I don't like that either. Okay, when they do, you can have something that's kind of exclusive, but like I want like-minded people. But I do want the diversity at the same time. I know that not all black people think alike. Like it was great at AOL Black Voices because okay, there are black people who listen to Steely Dan. There are and even with the people that we disagree with, it wasn't just people just troll or just trying to instigate. You just really had differing opinions. You had those who were more related to good times, but you also had those who relate to the Cosby Show. Do you understand what I'm saying? Right, you say. Right, and this is weird. In my older age, I have not really been back to the gym more recently. Because you remember a couple months ago, I was really, really, and I'm realizing I have developed a fear of being outside. That was never me. I have developed uh and I'm like, do I gotta go back to doing the little shorts? Because I think what I was doing the shorts on the other channel where I felt I had more females, looking cute and everything, look, showing myself a little makeup, trying to, because I was just trying to get the channel. I said, okay, I see I get the subscriber count going up. I'm almost there, so let me keep loading with shorts. And since I now see that for the first time I got more female subs, let me, maybe do a little makeup or show it off, and it was making me feel, it was like, it was also, which all comments, or kind comments, it was motivating me to, okay, you know what? But I noticed that since losing that channel, but I don't feel right doing those same videos over here. Being that it's more male subscribers over here. And of course, I'm married. Well, I'm just saying. And plus, y'all wasn't used to me doing them kind of videos over here where I'm, that stuff, doing selfie kind of stuff. That's just not me. But it was, I realized, like I said about it was kind of motivating me doing these little shorts, whether I'm showing myself walking or whatever, it was like motivating me. And because I've noticed that recently, and through the years, me no longer working outside the home and everything, there's no way I would have been able to do these streams years ago. As long with me working and in college and all that. Um, but I realized I have developed, because okay, I'm being invited to something by my best friend and I haven't responded back. It's like a paint show, and I can't explain it. I don't know what I'm dealing with. I cannot explain it. Like I've got this. It's so many different things. You get older, like that. You just I can't explain it. Yeah, I do what I got to do, but I got to get back in the habit of going to the gym. Yes, I can exercise at home. There's no excuse, but it was becoming like something, and I liked getting, and I'm a person I always like getting on. I prefer getting on, going there public transport, and with me having a disorder, I'm not allowed to drive, and nobody would be here to take me to the gym. But I prefer getting on the public transportation and everything. So it's like, what's happening? I've been doing this all my life. Like, what's happening with me? What is this about? Like, why am I I'm afraid to go outside? Like, what's going on with me? And I'm the person in the neighborhood that be picking up the litter and all that. So like, what's going on with me? Yeah, so what's going on? This ain't never been me. Like, and I'm a person being that I was not allowed to drive because of my medical condition. Shoot, I go all through this city, get on the L, and I love it. Like, so I'm like, what's happening with me? And my friends right now, she wait for me to respond, and and she invited me to something, and she waiting for me to respond, and I'm scared. I don't want to go. I can't explain it. It's in another city. I don't want to go. And I'm supposed to be going to Diggable, but I'm gonna go see Diggable Planets. We the purchase, yeah. But I'm scared. I can't explain it. What's going on? What is going on? Okay, so read above. Okay, let me see. Let me see. I like to sit back, chill, and observe. Not unless it's something I'm super passionate about and out of nowhere I can speak in front of a lot of people. Yeah, it's funny. I do these live streams, but when I first also start doing the YouTubes, that was to help me because I was still in college. That was also to help me. If you notice my initial YouTubes, I would be like in the bathroom as if I'm giving a presentation because I was always having to do these presentations, these business related presentations, being that, um, obtaining, merchandising management degree and everything. And I would let other people, even though I would do all the work, all the research, putting together the PowerPoint, everything, doing all the, I would let other people present because I'm not a good public speaker. I'm not good standing in front of people, even though I'm a person who used to compete in talent competitions, like when I used to sing. But I'm even with that, I still, like, I get stage fright. And I had to get over that, but my voice ended up cracking, and that was years ago. But so when I was first doing my YouTube videos, I felt also it was a way of me practicing speaking publicly. So I would be, because I was told the way that I keep saying, So I've always admitted I am not good with these live streams. That's why when I was first doing the live streams, I would let other people kind of take over my panel because I know that I'm good at doing, I think I'm pretty good at doing videos and editing. That's the thing. Like I could put together, I could do the work, I could do when I'm got the passion to do it. But as in a live presentation, you see, I'll be all over the place. My timing is bad. Got bad timing. So I was like, when I'm doing my initial videos, where before I had my husband got me to Sony Vegas and trained me in that, it allowed me to, with these 10-minute videos, practice talking to people, talking. So I could do these presentations because I was tired of other people taking credit. And even with certain jobs I had, when we would have board meetings, when I was a case manager, I needed to learn how to better speak publicly. Even though I was good at, and that's the thing, I help people get jobs, and I'd be real good at it. Job interview, I would get it, like be hired on the spot, but still I had these struggles. But like when I'm sitting talking with y'all now, I'm so comfortable talking, but I'm too comfortable. I'm not good. I'm not structured. As a kid, they put me in remedial reading. They thought I couldn't read. Once I realized that, I read perfectly in that class. Yeah, I was good at reading, spelling. I was one of them kids that they would underestimate, and then they'd be shocked because I'm not the best talker publicly. But then they would be shocked because I was competing for instance, the Chicago Tribune spelling bee. That's the biggest spelling bee competition. People would be shocked my mathematics skills as well. The teacher heard I was in that class. I was in that class one day. The teacher heard me read and immediately brought me back, right back to my regular class, and told the teacher that I read just fine and that I was shy. Yeah, I was never, I'm a very talkative person, but I have to be, that's the thing. I overdo it or I just got to learn how to control it. He said I snapped out of that itch. I didn't want anyone to think I was slow. It's hard for me, like, in explaining myself. So That's good that you. I do believe, even though I haven't been diagnosed, I do believe from what I've learned that I deal with obsessive compulsive. Oh, definitely. Yeah, I used to have, yeah, like washing your hands compulsively, just the things that they say, checking the locks over and over. I do feel, yeah, because I used to have a problem getting tests done because I would be taking so long on one, like I was one of those, I have to get every answer right. And so what would happen is I'd end up getting a lower grade on my test because even though I got every answer right, I would take so long. So when I was trained by a teacher, I was told that you go, okay, they train me, go back to that. Just if you can't answer it right away, just go back to it. And I had to train myself to do that because yeah, I was one of those people, yeah, perfectionist. I realized that, like when I was a manager years ago at McDonald's, I realized I have to have the dollar bills facing a certain way. And even though I was not exactly diagnosed, I know that that's what it was because I watched the thing. It was a special, and it was on Mark Summers of Double Dare. And a lot of the stuff they said that he was doing, I was like, oh my gosh, that's me. And I noticed how my nieces would laugh at me, like Tasha, like things I didn't realize I was doing. Because I remember with my ex, we get in serious arguments because he wouldn't take his shoes off at the door. Like I would be really, washing my hands, checking the lock over and over. Now I wasn't as extreme as like what they claim with people like Howie Mandel and all that, but I know that that's something that I kind of deal with being a perfectionist, and so my problem is I may overdo it, or even in my talking, I think that I'm one of the people I'll repeat stuff over and over, and people, why do I tell the same story? Repeat something because I always feel that somebody's not hearing it, or no, I don't think they got exactly what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? You see, I'm doing it right now. Oh, you say you don't like being on a panel by yourself. Okay, it's interesting you're telling me that. That's real interesting you're saying it. But actually, like when you would do your live streams, actually they would be really cool. That's what I was like. So I was like, why did you stop? They would be really, really cool when you would do your live streams. But okay, it's interesting that you're saying that. I don't like making videos because I'm too much in my own head and I feel like I'm talking to myself. Yeah, I feel you. But it can, like, this can be therapeutic. Like me just talking on him because I was feeling terrible a second ago with what I ate. I ate. Jordan made this big old burger, and I just been kind of slipping, or and it just one burger alone, it's got my stomach feeling like and I just really realized I just can't eat certain things. Stop eating lunch. And 6, 7 girls stopped eating lunch because his boy told me he liked the way I am. Oh wow, you said weirded you out. I was like, oh my god, so it's paying attention to how I eat. Wow. Yeah, and it's something like one little thing like somebody say and the different anxieties that we have. Now I don't like how they got a name for everything, but I do think because I do think some people being diagnosed as bipolar because it seems like they're just saying that everybody is that now. But I do believe definitely with myself, even if it hasn't exactly been told, what obsessive compulsive. It may not be. Have chilled and I'm not as bad as I was because I didn't realize I was that bad. Like Taj, my nieces kind of laughing at how I used to be in the '90s, and I didn't realize I was that bad. Like one of those people, things gotta be folded. But then when I'm hearing some people, I think that was the thing with Joan Crawford. Very obvious with the whole no wire hangers, her seeing the bathroom is dirty, even though it's clean and it's pretty much clean. Because, yeah, that's how I don't like anybody else cleaning my bathroom. But I feel like now that I've worked on that and suppressed some of that, I feel like I'm a kind of a bum. I think I felt I had more discipline though. When come to find out my nieces them were kind of laughing at me. I think I had more. I kind of preferred myself when I was a little more. obsessive compulsive. I feel like I had more discipline, whereas now I feel like I'm too chill. Yeah, because I was one of those people just doing everything at once. But I think I burned myself out. That's another thing I think I did. I get worried about my niece Tosh because I feel like she's kind of doing that, doing too much. But yeah, I end up burning myself out because I was school, college, volunteer work, taking care of not just my daughter but other people's kids. I did not get to enjoy my 20s. As much, you know, I missed out on a lot of life. And I think I didn't burnt myself out. Yeah, I kind of picked that up from you, Fran Brown. That but when you do, like I remember we used to do, yeah, you used to with the psychopathy and stuff. We used to. I think it did seem like we had found like a kind of comfortable setting and environment. What went wrong? What went wrong? That was really really cool. I think we were setting a bet. And I don't know if Eldot still listening, but they was over there wilding. So I was like, yeah, we are a better example with our live streaming. I was like thinking that we a better example. Y'all over there, y'all illin', we chilling. I was like, y'all, these guys are arguing too much. I felt like we were better, yeah, and new possibilities. And it's really really sad. Yeah, I'm telling you, that's what with I believe that I'm not a doctor, but I believe that she was not only what bipolar two, but I think also that now I've been dealing. I had dealt with depression. Yeah, of course I've lost my loved ones. Who wouldn't deal with depression? But I think with Faye Dunaway, I think that was what was it like bipolar two, and I think she was obsessive compulsive. I definitely think. And I do have loved ones, but we this was diagnosed after they drug addiction, manic depression, schizophrenia. But I think that has to do also triggered by their drug use. Yeah, and I think yeah, you say you have your talkative moments, even if the convo is good. I feel like so drained afterwards. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's the thing. When I get on certain things, when I get to talking, I know that's why it's good that I come up in here, so I don't be driving my husband crazy talking. But we see that's the thing. We were both talking. That's the thing. And I be like wondering even with y'all, how y'all dealing with me, Lord? I don't know how y'all able to hear me. Y'all so patient, and I be all over the place. Man, you better go on out of here. What is this? I'm on some Diddy party up here. Stop playing. Oh boy, look at y'all. The freaks come out at night. Freaks come out at night. Yeah, that's what's happening with me. It's I don't know. My friends are contacting me, and I haven't seen. I'm telling on myself, but I'm assuming that they don't know me live streaming. But I'm telling on myself, and I don't know how to tell my friend. I got to the fifth. They just sent me, the RSVP. I don't want to go, and it's not about them. I want to be around them. I just don't want to. I don't want to go out. Once the vacation is over, I don't want to. Now I kind of want to. I don't know. I think too with me falling off. Like I was all down with going to the beach, this, and that. But now I'm going back into this, and I can't explain it. Now I don't want to go. Maybe it's that I don't want to go around past friends. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I'm afraid. Maybe I'm okay with just being around just like the family and kids, my husband. Maybe that's my fear. Maybe I'm fearing being around friends I haven't seen in a minute. Maybe that's it. Maybe I feel I'm not in shape. I don't know what it is. But period. I'm just having this thing, even going to the gym like I was, whereas it had became an addiction. I don't know. I feel like being that it's been now a month. I feel like I'm not part of the club anymore. Like I feel like I don't want to see anybody struggling with me on the machines. Because I'm telling you, when I first over a year ago, and that was the best thing my husband did, and we all actually paid extra for me to have a personal trainer. Oh, and that personal trainer, he didn't play with me. Because I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna be able to do the stuff that he's having me do. Because seriously, friend, I was with a cane in 2022. I was limping. You saying that? I'm telling you, I was limping 2022. I was like, but I had a really good, and it's sad that they fired him. He had told me, seen him coming, he got fired. But yeah, we was like paying like 300 a month. But that was one of the best things my husband did because but he had me, and I was shocked. I was shocked that I was doing stuff. But boy, he was having me do some, and I didn't think I could do. Yeah, but when I first went to the gym, and there was people much bigger than me in the gym, but I still felt like maybe because I saw them as younger than me, I felt like I didn't belong there. Like I don't belong here because, even if these people there are people bigger than me, it's just the whole thing with my leg and all, and sometimes you be feeling like you're the only person going through what I was going through. So I felt like I was a handicap and I just don't belong here at first. Cause I was just talking, my husband house the show Lazy Town. I was getting jealous watching the guy flip around and so late. Now I can't do that stuff no more. But I do watch the challenge, live vicariously through characters, especially considering I used to be athletic. But yeah, you know what? I said that I'm gonna go tomorrow. I'm going to go tomorrow because the way I just had this burger. Now earlier, the salad was made for me, but yeah, but me having this one burger and it's got, and I just had to take some Pepto Bismol and like, oh goodness, I just cannot eat the way. Yeah, and thought I could have like just a little ice cream. Like now, I was always lactose intolerant, but I could still like eat ice cream and stuff. But now it's like you got to deal. You get older, more inflammation, and just acid reflux. It's just so many dang on issues. So what? I had to have an X-ray on my shoulder. Like, oh my gosh! But I think that also was a result of doing the weightlifting. It is so many damn issues. Like you'll find your wrist because you're not getting that as your yeah your estrogen levels drop and you been watching. The dog say they're watching Mad TV. I never got into. I liked SNL, but I never got into Mad TV. I felt like that was like a kind of bootleg SNL. And I know a lot of people since the whole COVID shutdown. I know a lot of people just ain't the same as they were before. Yeah, I think it was around that time that I just started watching things like Survivor and things shows that I wasn't watching. I just started watching after I never got into Mad TV. I don't know. Yeah, I know a lot of our people say that they like Living Color. I know I shouldn't be liking SNL more with the Caucasian people, but I of those three, I know. Don't get mad at me, but I still prefer SNL. Like I remember, we remember with the original cast, Gilda Radner, and when she was still alive, and yeah, they've had some bad seasons. I remember when Eddie Murphy became a part of. I remember when after the original cast went into film and all of that. Then they had that really weak cast in the early 80s. See, that's also a part of my family because my mama worked nights. So I was a little kid up late watching shows like Saturday Night Live or, Saturdays and Benny Hill, stuff that little kids shouldn't watch. So I'm always have like a little more of appreciation for Saturday Night Live. And I love those movies that the actors from Saturday Night Live, the comedians, they went on to do, like Stripes. And we used to love those movies, like the Blues Brothers, Stripes, The Jerk. But I would say, like, yeah, I really like, of course, the original cast, and I liked with SNL around the time of, like, what was it? Also, like late 80s, early 90s. And when you thought that they were going to lose it after, I think that the best, yeah, when you had Chris Farley and even Adam Sandler, even though I felt he's a little overrated. But that was a good era, when Chris Rock was a part of. And when you thought that they were gonna lose it, yeah, then you had a new era with Will Ferrell, what's her name, Sherry O'Terry, and it's like people like, yeah, Keenan, he been keeping it going, yeah. And I remember, with Maya Rudolph, it was still holding it down. So I can't say that I regularly watch SNL. My husband and I will just watch in YouTube like snips and stuff. Like Keenan Thompson, he's like one of the last people kind of holding it down. Cause now even the good people they've had, they've went on and into film and all of that. Somehow, Saturday Night Live, they able to come back. I think that it will really totally ultimately jump shark once Lorne Michaels, the creator, passes. I mean, I'm not saying I'm looking forward to him passing. I'm just saying, like, when, if he passes, I think that's when it would definitely be over. I think people just don't get it. Like, I don't know. Oh my gosh, not even. Mad TV is not better than SNL. Not even. Don't they even use laugh tracks? They don't even like live studio audience. Hell no. I argue with black folks on that. Mad TV is not better than SNL. That's like those people who claim that. That's like those people who claim that they were making me mad. I remember when Family Guy was canceled and people act like it was better than The Simpsons. I say, y'all out y'all damn mind. Family Guy ain't got nothing, could never come close to The Simpsons. I was like, y'all must be younger. But I don't know. Like, Family Guy can't come close. I was upset that they had, around that time, that Futurama was given the axe initially, where everybody else was upset. Remember when they had canceled the shows on Fox and Futurama, and don't nobody remember the Oblongs. I know some cartoons. The Oblongs was funny, but I didn't expect that was gonna last. I was kind of politically incorrect. He showed these mutants with these. I'm one of the few people who remember the Oblongs, but the other. What? Come on. Family Guy, you like Family Guy more than The Simpsons. Oh my gosh. Those who are really into cartoon, even cartoonists themselves, they're certain cartoons like Mike Judge, they didn't really respect Seth MacFarlane. They didn't really respect. Oh, cartoon purists, they didn't really respect initially. They didn't really respect Family Guy like that. For one, some of us felt that it was somewhat of a ripoff. Well, when I was thinking of the show Wait Till Your Father Gets Home from the 70s. Now, I'm not saying it absolutely ain't funny. And I actually would watch the Cleveland show. I could dig the Cleveland show of a Family Guy. Even though some people say, how can you say that? No, they was unnecessarily hating on the Cleveland show. They didn't want this black show outshining. Plus, they were upset that King of the Hill was ending and all of that. Hey, Antoine, the alien abductee. Oh, we gonna have to sit and watch SNL together. I, classic skits. We gonna have to sit and watch SNL together. Yeah, I think they were now they talking like, oh, they want the Cleveland show to come back. It shouldn't have been canceled. No, no. Because they were just hating on the Cleveland show. I think they were afraid they didn't want it to outshine this black with the black cast, if you will. They didn't want it outshining Family Guy. Plus, they were salty. They were salty over the end of the King of the Hill. And I guess they kind of saw it as like the Cleveland show taking its place. That's all that was about. And they didn't want something that could disrupt, you know, because a lot of times people not comfortable with like sitcoms, with some of the best shows or spin-offs. Some of the best TV shows came from spin-offs. Good Times was a spin-off. The Jeffersons, they were both spin-offs of, well, I know the Jeffersons, All in the Family. Good Times is a spin-off of Maude. Some of the best TV shows people don't realize came from spin-offs. Yeah, I mean, it was funny. I'm not gonna say nothing. It just to me it was. If you remember the Oblong, you can find it. My husband didn't know about it, so I had him watching it with me. He's cracking up. He wanted to see more. Yes, I remember Fridays. I remember Fridays. And that dude for Seinfeld. Yeah, that was short lived. My family, we love comedy. Yes, I remember it wasn't long. I also it was a lot of them ones. Now I didn't know a girl from Home, the woman that just passed from Home Alone. I didn't know that she was part of the Canadian. Oh, was that? And see, too, you gotta remember I'm from Chicago, so a lot of great comedians come out of Illinois and also Chicago, second city. So I'm a know. Yeah, Simpsons. Man, Family Guy can't even touch the Simpsons. Please, they can do all this shock stuff all they want. Now I'll give it to South Park, but still ain't better than Simpsons. I had to stop watching South Park altogether. I was like eager to see the movie, and then they had with a devil in bed with all that blasphemous stuff, and that was my last time. After that movie came out, I couldn't watch South Park no more. Yes, I did. I like. Oh my gosh! What you know about? I know. I'm talking to you like you're younger than me. What you know about Kids in the Hall? Now I realize. I didn't realize I was a lot of those characters. A lot of those comedic actors were queer. That was like the original Queer Eye. I didn't realize, but I liked it back then. I used to like the Gary Shandling show. I didn't get into the Larry Sanders show. But I did like but that was like a sitcom. Yes, I definitely remember Kids in the Hall. Wait, Kids in the Hall. That was 80s. That was 80s. Wasn't that HBO 80s? Kids in the Hall. That was like from the 80s, wasn't it? Like mid. I'm crushing your head. I can't believe y'all. Y'all out y'all man. Talking about stuff. Come on now. Now I understand why there are some people like. Well, think about it though. Why is Mad TV not still running though? But there are some things they are canceled too soon. I don't think that's the case with Mad TV. It was a little cheesier. I'm gonna tell you this. It was my nephew. Now remember I told you, now my sister's two sons, and they happen to be biracial, where we did not get the custody of them, and they were adopted by white, from the time they were babies, right? So we have finally got in touch years ago, like about 15 years ago, or 12 years. How many years ago it been? Like about 15 years ago, we finally got in touch with. We found, got back in touch and found my sister's two sons and my nephew. Now he been, raised in Illinois suburb, and although he does have a black adopted sister a sister who's also adopted. He's been mostly around, white folks stuff. Love rock music, don't like rap. That's okay. But he like, he was hanging like with my husband and I, hanging out with us. And he got us into, because I never really got into British comedy. I didn't see British people as all that funny. I think with me, British people, they were kind of funny when they not necessarily try to be funny, like Simon Cowell. They just being mean, but they can be funny when they're just being British. I just never really saw, you know, it's like with Mexican comedy, the stereotype. Yeah, yeah, like you think of the Simpsons, the guy in the beat, that kind of comedy ain't really funny to me. Not like Cheech and Chong or Cheech Marin, yeah, he funny. But George Lopez funny, yeah. But yeah, anyway, I didn't really get into like British. So I never was into, because I remember when they used to come on like the Monty Python Flying Circus, my like really early 70s memories. And even though I did watch Benny Hill as a kid, even though I know kids shouldn't be, you gotta understand, my mom worked nights. And I just thought, because it was kind of cartoonish, and I was a little kid, so I just thought, I did like Benny Hill when I was a kid, even though that was very adult. But I wasn't looking for those reasons. But I liked it because it was very, it was very cartoonish. Like I used to love the monkeys. Hey, hey, when I was a kid, I used to love that. So they were kind of cartoonish. But I never got into like Monty Python's Flying Circus. But yeah, now my nephew, he had brought for us to watch him hanging. He liked hanging with my husband and I. And so he brought some movies. Yeah, so he liked the Holy Grail. Now I remember when it came out, but I just never saw it. Like my family, we watch movies like The Jerk and Blazing Saddles and all that, but we just never watched the whole, what was that, the Holy Grail. And we watched it. It was actually funny. I can't believe we missed out. It was actually really funny. And next thing you know, my husband and I, we looking up in YouTube, looking up skits because we like comedy. So next thing you know, we looking up, Monty Python skits. They're actually funny. Um, yeah, I didn't think I would like it, but he got us kind of into, with Monty Python. That was actually really funny, in fact. I was one of the few people. I was appreciating Ben Stiller before anybody was appreciating. Now I know of his father, the comedic, and his mother and father, and the comedic Jerry Stiller, who passed not that long ago. But Ben Stiller, I remember when he had his show. It was like on Fox, Ben Stiller show, and it didn't last long because people wasn't ready for that type of comedy. People weren't ready for Ben. They weren't ready for that. They wasn't ready until the movie Something About Mary. They weren't ready. I was one of the few people, because I remember when people weren't really black people. I remember they weren't appreciated. They weren't really feeling Dave Chappelle, because they wasn't. I remember this when Dave and Chris Rock, when they had a production. But I was a person, I did like them. I liked Chris Rock before the whole Bring the Pain and all that. But I can't say that my brothers were, because I was that type. Like I said, I'd be listening to Bill Cosby himself, and I couldn't get my siblings to listen to it with me. But I was appreciating. Yeah, I can't say that I would be beyond that, but yeah, yeah, it was actually funny. I see why it's a classic now. Like movies, and also you have Spinal Tap with Rob Reiner's Spinal Tap. That's not British comedy. Wasn't they had a fake accent dude from Laverne and Shirley? But I get it. And I couldn't believe with the Tyler Perry plays. We was actually it had to be my father's family who came out of Cabrini. Of course, they were no longer Cabrini Green. When they were playing Tyler Perry plays, I was with my father's family Christmas time some years back. I just know when I was hearing the advertisements for him on the radio, Tyler Perry coming to town, I was like, this sound ignorant. Oh, this sound ignorant. This sound minstrel. Then I was actually enjoying it with the plays they were playing and my family. I was actually enjoying it. The Medea plays, them earlier plays. I was actually enjoying it. I didn't think I would. Uh oh, Wishbone. I'm thinking fish. I know my husband. He be now watching these like skits, like with dude from Chicago and they Fishbone. My husband be all into. He love them. Yeah, now that's the thing now. People ain't watching the SNL skits and stuff. They watching these YouTubers and they look skits like Drewski and I don't trust Drewski. Yeah, I don't trust that. Coming at the church and Hebrew Israelites, I don't trust them. Me, I get it. I know that I'm not with these camps, but I still don't trust it. Just I don't know, Drewski. Yeah, my husband be watching stuff like these the YouTubers. I can't really get with that. I do like that one lady. Everybody's I ain't seen her videos in a while. I thought I was subscribed to her. Everybody's so creative. Where she give her commentary. And yeah, like my husband he be watching, he be trying to be crazy, showing me one after another with the little shorts. It be cause I don't follow TikTok. This is not my generation. But he's always showing me the little shorts. They using the Michael Jackson face from back. And they got that music there, they're like 80 songs. I don't know if y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm like, goodness, I miss my calling. I could be up there making tall money. You got people getting tons of views. Just bruh. That's all they do. Bruh. Making fake. Oh, wait, that one guy now, he's funny. What's the one? Ooh, my stomach bubbling. My husband always be watching him. Where he like peeking through like a nosy neighbor, peeking through the window. I can't think of their names. My husband be watching these people. He's funny. He's funny. I think he's the. Oh yeah, we love up at YouTube. Now we used to love, even though he don't do it regularly. We used to love Dashi Says. I know y'all know. We used to this was a routine my husband and I watching Dashi Says. When he don't do the Mario Kart. Yeah, Dashi Games, rather. This guy here. I remember first I was like, I had to unsubscribe because he doing too many horror games. So it'd be too many of these thumbnails coming up looking demonized. But he funny as hell. I was like, he is yelling like I was a loud video game player. And my voices went out. And I'm like, I'm scared that he gonna damage his vocal cords. But I play video games just like him, loud as hell. My husband and people know, my nieces know, like when I'm a loud video game player. I'm gonna be acting a fool. Mother My niece know how to always time for the comeback. Whenever I'm about to, I used to always say that. But yeah, he's kind of. At first, I was like, is he kind of in a way, even though he's Dominican, is he kind of raccoon and like overdoing it? But he's really funny. And he had to put in work to be editing these videos. So I definitely believe he deserves his success. Dashi, yeah, we used to love watching it. And he would have, what's the name? John Witherspoon. See, that's the thing. I had to stop watching because there's too many creepy stuff. That's the only reason I subscribe. He doing too much of this horror stuff, and it would come up. But we used to just every weekend we had to watch the Super Mario Maker. And they make these really, really hard, impossible levels. He'd be funny as hell. And my husband and I, we'd have to, after listening to the Sabbath lesson and everything, this was like routine for us. We'd have to kind of miss watching these.
Can he kill me? How you doing? Stop. Okay, what?
That's the thing. Even in YouTube, it used to be people, it was funny roast. Now it's just too serious now. Yeah, it is at a point now. People get doxxed. It used to be funny. Like, if we were to talk about something, because like I said, I can listen to raccoons and people who deserve to be roasted all damn day. I got a sense of humor. But now people, they just get so serious. I got to put your kids out there and all that stuff. But, don't get me wrong. Some of these people need to be exposed. Their asses. especially if they just spinning whole narratives that are may put other people in danger.
Tough with that shit, and then
But what is it? What's one of the funniest roast on Tommy? I ain't gonna lie, I found myself going back to. What is it? Somebody he claimed that he was the. He claimed that he was the and I ain't gonna lie, the Black Sector was kind of funny with it, when they all dot the little parodies and stuff. But yeah, I felt people deserve to get roasted. But as long as it didn't get too serious. But yeah, stuff just got so dang serious. Like people just ruthless. Where they trying to push people to unalive themselves and stuff. Like I ain't with all that. Like, but yeah, they make these impossible levels and his little reactions and yeah, but we had to watch this. He'd be funny as hell. Oh, Max Headroom was creepy. Like that was creepy and it was pointless and it was yeah, it just you knew that that wasn't gonna last. You knew that that wasn't gonna last. I was just I don't know them showing out the how far we've come in technology, I guess. But that was like creepy and Max Headroom it was nothing funny. I remember when they first started with the Adult Swim back in the late '90s with Cartoon Network. That's when it was kind of pivoting away from the old Hanna Barbera stuff, Yogi Bear and all that. But when they first and you had a really good era of cartoons. I think that was just as good as that golden era in the 1940s. I think one of the best era. I don't like much about the 2000s, but you did have from the late 90s into the early to mid 2000s. You did have a really good era of cartoons. SpongeBob, Powerpuff Girls, you know, there's a lot. Invader Zim, Chowder. I think eventually the last of that era, like Adventure Time and yeah, Fairly Odd Parents. You had some really good cartoons at that time. Ed, Ed and Eddie, Yeah, I'll include Rugrats, even though that was actually started early '80s. Oh my gosh, Robot Chicken. Yeah, they started to get a little too weird. But I ain't gonna lie, when they first with the Space Ghost, and I remember I would get off of work, and I was working at. Oh my god! I said this is some weird. They took an old cartoon from the '60s, the old cartoon that was kind of a flop. Space Ghost was a flop, but yet they giving him a talk show. Yeah, and he just died. The person who did the voice, and before that you had the voice of Zorak, that cricket, whatever, that mantis, whatever, who passed. But Space Ghost, the voice of Space Ghost, what was it, just last year? We've lost a lot in cartoon. I'm wondering how with Bob's Burgers, the character, the guy who does the voice of Gene, he's in a horrible accident where he got burned. I'm wondering how he doing. Yeah, we've had some tragedies. Oh yeah, just the person who does did the voice of Optimus Prime just passed away. I don't even mess with horror movies no more. Yeah, Space Ghost Coast. I used to wonder, is this real? Are they really interviewing these celebrities? I was just, but it was they had some weird stuff with Adult Swim. By the time they had that, what was that? I was like, okay, this is just weird now. And then you wonder why this younger generation is so damn weird. But they start having stuff like oh my gosh, with the Aqua Teen Hugger Force. I'm like, what the hell is this? Hey, Shula, the Mike Ruler, the old schooler. How did that go? They got a meat water meatball, a shake. I like, oh my gosh. Like, what the hell? Right, a meatball and shaking a fry. I said, somebody, yeah, like Paul would say, somebody is doing some crack. It had to be some Gen X's. Some stoned Gen X's coming up with this dish. Okay? There was some crazy ass shows with Adult Swim. Assy McGee, like what the hell? I'm gonna tell you one cartoon that you would think, me being a cartoon lover, that you would have think that I would have really been into and have appreciation for, but I just didn't. I didn't. Yeah, I didn't. And that's Ren and Stimpy. I didn't. I never really got into that. It was too extra for me. I usually like detailed facial expressions and all that. Funny, but it was too much. It was too. I think it was too dependent on that. I, it's hard to believe. Some people think that my past needs to be taken away, but I just with the Ren and Stimpy, it didn't. It wasn't to me. That wasn't funny enough. You got to do more than all the extreme facial, you know, exaggerated caricature, facial expressions, and all of that. I like that, and I'm old school. I prefer hand drawn like how they used to with SpongeBob, bringing back good old sketching and over computer animation. But don't get me wrong, I do appreciate like I love the Shrek series. I love the Shrek series, and really like them characters. They that was my first time really looking at it, like the expressions Shrek would make, like when he did that one face that's become like a meme now. I was like, man, and they would really like you could really see like Donkey with Eddie Murphy and Shrek and with the with Mike. I don't know, that was surreal to me with the Shrek. I love the Toy Story series too. Yeah, I can watch Shrek over and over again. At least once a month, I go through my little series watching Shrek. I'm worried about this new and up and coming one. I'm worried about it. Especially, I'm seeing the way the animation, they look somewhat different. I'm kind of worried about this new upcoming Shrek. The last Toy Story was pretty good. I think we all need to see that, especially if you're a parent. My niece said that she was crying. Tasha. She said she was thinking about her daughter. Yeah, and it got me. Oh, they just recently had a creepy episode of The Simpsons, though. I told y'all. What I was supposed to be talking about Big Brother. Yeah, I would say late 90s. I think that was really great from like 1997 up until I'd say 2010, 2009. I'll say 2010. You had a really good era of cartoons. The reason I'm extending it to 2010 is because I gotta include Adventure Time. I can't say that I got in. Everybody talking about this Gravity Falls. I can't say I ever got into that. Now I remember I stopped my grandchild from watching Steven Universe because I realized they had this damn trans like character. I'm gonna tell you, you know what ended it for that good era of the 2000s, and I don't like much about the 2000s, but I will say you had some good cartoons. But the what ended it when they came out with this damn fanboy and chum chum. That was whack. And then they had this breadwinners. And my grandchild was like, I was like, this is just purely stupid. This is just how many booty jokes can you butt jokes? I mean, that was just stupid. Now I did like my husband. I hit it. Yeah, they just brought back like the regular show, like the lost season of the regular show. Even though that was weird too. What the hell? High five ghost. And what happened to opening music, theme music? If you notice, there's no music really with the regular show. It just, you know. Same with that. What was that one? The gumball. But with that, when they had that fanboy and chum chum, and that was the end. That was just that was the end. The only thing that I may check out, they got the Loud House. That's all right. That's all right. Overrated, but it's all right. I get it. I do like the cartooning style. As a cartoonist, I do like that style of cartooning. Of course, we know. I'm mad because Paramount removed My Life as a Teenage Robot. I get mad because it's not making the money that and man, SpongeBob, they need to. And that became my favorite cartoon. I'm the biggest SpongeBob fan. I even got the painting. My husband got it for me. I even got one day I was set up, maybe make this into a gaming room or something. But I got the Squidward painting, but and they threw it in the trash. I showed it to y'all, right? Bold and brass, more like belongs in the trash. I'm a big SpongeBob fan. My niece knew to get me the SpongeBob T-shirt. Big fan of SpongeBob, or I was, but Nickelodeon, they need to let it go. They need to. They gonna milk that to the very end. They gonna milk that to the. They SpongeBob and brought Nickelodeon too much money. They done. They did Butch Hartman wrong though. But yeah, I preferred. I didn't think anything could. I didn't think anything could take the place of that golden era of cartoons, like in the 1940s, 30s, 40s, and I'll even add 50s. I didn't think any cartoons could take the place, especially we talking 1940s, like the Tom and Jerry's and all of that. Man, those are the best cartoons. That golden era, like from I'll say the 1930s up until I'll say the 1960s with the Flintstones. I didn't think any era. I always thought the 80s cartoons, yeah, I'll say it, overrated. Overrated. It was just good for selling merchandise. It's about making money. Because every damn cartoon was attached, it came from a toy line. Because the 80s was just about making money. A lot of them cartoons, yeah, they great memories and all, but those cartoons weren't really. Come on, Smurfs. Come on, Smurfs. I know y'all not gonna agree with me on that, but overrated. 70s, it's more about it. Of course, like I like Scooby Doo and Super Friends, but a lot of them cartoons they was just especially after seeing the success of Scooby Doo, they had so many like Scooby. Okay, we got to make a whole bunch of cartoons with teenagers and one animal, Jabberjaw. Yeah, the 70s cartoons because you could see where you know like my mom explained that they were cracking down on the cartoon violence and all. You could definitely see that by the 80s. Hell no, I didn't like the Smurfs. Well, in my auntie house, the good thing is we couldn't watch that because they was Jehovah's Witnesses, but I didn't like it anyway. I didn't like it. Wasn't I was because I was used to being in Chicago. And I was used to them old school cartoons mostly where they getting like Tom and Jerry where it's funny. Yeah, I was watching the stuff like Tom and Jerry Popeye, where they be whooping each other ass. Woody Woodpecker being a jerk with Buzz Buzzard, Wally Walrus. I was used to that stuff. So the Smurfs, that was safe. I hated when they that early when they made okay. I didn't like when they had Tom and Jerry as friends, like in the 70s. They had the grape ape. I ain't like that. They had them friends because it was the 70s and parents were yeah around that time. Well, what my mother explained to me that the parents came together about the cartoon violence and all that kind of stuff. Parents got together. It was also the time of a lot of children programming and all that. And they were really giving consideration to what. And I'm not mad at that. But it was at a point, especially by the 80s, you ain't even if they fell on their booty, they would bounce back up and it'd be boing. It'd be a noise. Like you don't hear it crash. See, I was used to cartoons. They get anvils dropped on their head, and then their head be flattened or in the shape of a like, you know, um, like it'd be in the shape of the pot or whatever that was. I was used to them kind of cartoons where they funny and they whoop it like Popeye be fighting up some stuff, especially them older. I was used to them cartoons. So something like the Smurfs, like like okay, and then like oh gosh, you got this Smurf, and of course because this is Jokey Smurf, okay, he's gonna give him a present, it's gonna blow up, same thing. And then you had Brainy Smurf, and he wasn't even really smart because he was really he'd really be wrong about stuff, but he's supposed to be brain. And they had one girl, Smurfette. But boy, that sold merchandise though. I did though. I did like strawberry shortcake though. That definitely tapped into girl. I did, and my mom got me strawberry. Yeah, I was a strawberry shortcake little girl. I did like that though. I gotta admit. But yeah, like stuff like the Snorks and the Care Bears and the My Little Pony, and actually, I think My Little Pony is better. Like my grandchild was very much into the My Little Pony. The Friendship is Magic. That was actually better than the My Little Ponies of the '80s. I'm just saying. Oh yeah, Fantastic Max. Yeah, that was stuff also my brothers watching. Yeah, I remember I found the littles. Yeah, okay. Like when I was at my fam, when I be with my family, they would be watching that stuff that would be more likely to be like on NBC or CBS. I wasn't all that fond of the littles, but that would you ever be like if you're at another family member's house or a cousin and they watch these cartoons, but this isn't what your family watch. That's how. So I used to kind of regret, yeah, because my family, we were like on Saturday mornings, we were strictly in more so into the ABC cartoon. I think The Littles was on ABC, but we were more into, we didn't, yeah, whereas like I know I went to like stay with certain families and they watched these, like I didn't really watch after school like in Chicago on Channel 50, they would be watching Heathcliff and stuff. Whereas I was used to watching the WFLD cartoons, like that was shown like He Man and the Masters of the Universe and She-Ra and the Thundercats. Those are the stuff I was watching. But then when I had to stay with, like at my grandma's house and stuff, they were watching with my grandma's second family. They would be watching Heathcliff, Garfield and Friends, and that stuff. I had nothing against like Heathcliff was cool. It was all right. The Littles, that's not really what my family watched, but because you ever had when you're at you're in a different household and you realize they watch different TV shows. Like when I stayed with my auntie and uncle, like my family didn't watch Little House on the Prairie. I guess my mom just wasn't interested. But when I stayed with my auntie and uncle, they loved it. They love like my family. Now, yeah, we may have watched the Honeymooners and stuff. Um, I say my auntie and uncle, they loved the Honeymooners too, but they loved I Love Lucy. My mama's sister loved I Love Lucy. My mama didn't really watch I Love Lucy, but my mom, yeah. You ever when you're in a different household, your household watch these shows, you and your cousins and watch them all. And I think too, I associated with being separated with my mom. So that's probably why I didn't really get into the littles because I associated it with being, that was kind of traumatizing for me not living with my mother. So I think that's what it was too. I associated the littles and some with being in a different household that I didn't want to be in. So that's probably what that was more about. Yeah, you feel that? Yeah, it's Shiro. It was pretty good, but I think they had a little annoying sidekick character. Like that was the thing that kind of ruined the Thundercats. Orko wasn't annoying. I didn't know people were annoyed by Orko, but that little character, Snarf. What was this Snarf? That character was annoying, just like Scrappy, Crappy Doo. Oh, I hated Crappy. That ruined Scooby Doo. I was a little kid, and I knew that Crappy. I remember when Crappy Doo was introduced, like in the late '70s. He ruined it. I hated Scrappy Doo. Let me at him. Oh my gosh, he was annoying. I could tolerate the Brady Bunch, cousin Oliver. He wasn't so bad. I think he get a bad rap. I don't know why they do that every time. Why do they do that? Or they add a new character. They're hoping to get younger viewers. I'm sorry, but I wasn't even feeling it with the Cosby Show with Raven Simone. What I did like with Sandra's husband, now he was funny, but they always feel like, oh, we got to add a cute kid, a kid. Only time I was okay with it, Family Ties with the little boy getting older. And I did like Nick on Family Ties. He was a cool addition. I think sometimes when it does work, it's like an accident like Steve Urkel. But I appreciated Family Ties even before Steve Urkel. But I knew I ain't gonna front. It would have been canceled. It would have eventually been canceled. I was still watching. I appreciated the show before Urkel, but I'd be lying if I didn't say that. I think they didn't intend. No, they didn't know he was like just a guest character or whatever, or just meant to be on like one or two episodes. Yeah, okay, that was Thundercats. That they ain't gonna snarf. Ugh, I don't know why they do that. Like even with the Jetsons to me ain't got nothing on Flintstone. And come to find out, when the Jetsons, when it came out in the '60s, trying to, you know, after the success of the Flintstones in the '60s, the Jetsons wasn't really successful. Come to find out when it came out in the '60s, I wasn't born, of course, but even with the Jetsons, like when they brought it back in the '80s, and they had like this little character, even with the Flintstones, I remember at the Jump the Shark site when they used to have it. Some people they felt that the birth of Pebbles. Well, number one reason that they voted that the Flintstones Jump Shark was Gazoo, the Great Gazoo. Even though there are one or two episodes with Gazoo that was funny, like the Fred and Barney, yes, no, them doubles. That was a funny one with the Great Gazoo. But I would say it was still good episodes. There were still good episodes even after Pebbles was born, because some people felt that that's when they made it a little. Because they also had the Fruity Pebbles cereal, I guess, around that time. I wasn't alive, but so now they felt that it was becoming more like Fred's character was a little toned, where he was a little angrier or something before, or he was well, I mean, that's how you would be in real life. You have a child, you're not gonna be, you gotta chill. Especially a father got a baby girl. That's how it would be in real life. I think though, with the Flintstones was not Pebbles, but when they added Bam Bam and that Hoppity character and the original voice for Betty Rubble, the woman from the Beverly Hillbillies, she was no longer doing the voice of Betty Rubble. Cause you still had good episodes even after Pebbles was born. Yeah, it was better. I agree that the Flintstones was better before the addition of the children. I agree. Yeah, and see, yeah, we were talking. We used to talk these discussions like at Jump the Shark and stuff. That's why I definitely preferred the Flintstones, because at least Fred Flintstone, he wasn't a straight up just wimp for Mr. Space for what was Mr. Slate. Whereas, like, oh my gosh, Jetson, he was a total wimp. He was, he never had any sort of spine with Mr. Spacely. And that used to irritate me. And also his wife, she just didn't have the depth, or the character like Wilma Flintstone. So I definitely, I think the concept of the Jetsons was really cool. We still don't. If we really were like that, like the Jetsons, where everything were sliding, you think that we fat now? We would really be fat if things were like the Jetsons. But I like this idea of everywhere we're flying to everywhere, and you up in the air like that. But like if we were really where we're just sliding around, we don't even have to walk. The floors are sliding. Everybody would be so overweight. Yeah, and he was like fired every. How many episodes was he? How many episodes was George Jetson fired? At least Florence Flintstone. He wasn't like no straight punk like that. What was our favorite? The Flintstones. Yeah, I think the concept of that's one of those cartoons they could definitely recreate. They tried to, what was it, Second McFarlane tried to bring back the Flintstone, but that was the first cartoon, like prime time, and it was definitely they were trying to attract an adult audience. That was before you had the Simpsons, before you had all of that. It goes back to the Flintstones. And you can, yeah, they had a lot of adult stuff with the Flintstones. You could tell they were like that episode with the beauty pageant. Fred and Barney, their lodge chose them, the host to be the judges for a beauty pageant. They lodge, and so Wilma and Betty, they getting all these calls from strange women and stuff. and the husband didn't tell him. And yeah, there was a woman. She called it. Fred, Fred's wife will, but she wanted to give him her measurements. Now you know that wasn't for no kids. 46, 24. What was her measurements? 46, 24, 34. And she was like, "Are you sure about that 46?" You know that wasn't for no kids. That was a good one. The beauty pageant, Hot Lips Hannigan, open the states. Those classic episodes. Or when, oh gosh, when Fred, yeah, when he was acting like he was robbed, but then he get robbed in real life at the end. Oh man. Yeah, because you could tell. Because they used to do cigarette ads for Winston cigarettes. And I remember them old cartoons. They was having that would entice you to want to smoke cigarettes. The old cartoons, they would always smoking cigarettes, going to bars, having like Woody Woodpecker with Buzz Buzzard, having drinks at a bar. My friend, she used to get mad. How Fred would always be talking Barney and doing stuff, and he didn't want to do. Yes, my brother, rest in peace. We called him Caveman. Kind of named him after the cartoon. That was his nickname. So we never called him because we were all ghetto, so we all had nicknames. All my siblings, we pretty much had nicknames. We called that. That's what we named my brother after his nickname, Captain Caveman. Well, what my mom said is, God, she was saying that my brother was wild. She's like, don't call my son a caveman. But it stuck. We called him Caveman. That was my brother. We named him after Captain Caveman. See, I was supposed to be talking about Big Brother, y'all. I'm glad that Tasha is kept. Yeah. Oh my God, that's what I was supposed to be talking about, Big Brother. Which I know y'all don't be watching it with me, so it's like, but I know in Lipstick Alley they talking because we were just knowing after Drew won the BB Block, we was like, oh man, we know, and I think it was rigged for him to win. But I'm gonna tell you right now, this is what I was wanting to respond to well with. See, they are finna be mad at the white Latinos on that show, D and Drew, because their little sweetheart Mallory, America's favorite, she's been voted off. And they are finna be, yeah, but they were all this white alliance, but they realized they kept the black girl Tasha because they see Mallory as a bigger threat or whatever. But no, that's what she get. Y'all don't know what I'm talking about because y'all don't watch the show. But what I'm saying is, even though they're not going to take this out on Drew or Angela, they are going to take this out on the white Latinas who were official members of the mosh pit. They're going to take it all out, not on Rick, even though he was behind it, and Angela too. They're not going to take it out on them. They're going to take it out on Drew. You know Drew, the one who was continuously targeting the black girl Taylor. And I think they rigged it for him to win. That's what people are talking about at Lipstick Alley. Because we were like, man, when he won the thing, we was like I said, let me go to Lipstick Alley because I know they mad. Because we've been waiting. That's all I've been waiting for, just to see if Taylor going to get voted off. But actually, something happened because I wasn't watching all these live feeds where they decided to keep her. Because they felt Mallory, this white girl, was bigger. And she purposely did not do her best on the HOH challenge, trusting that, and they ended up voting her out. And yeah, and Drew. So they're going to be taking it out. I'm telling you, they're going to be all up in here mad at but they thought they were all white people. See, I know D. That's why I've respected her game. I've watched her since Survivor when she won. D, the Cuban, she about that money. I've been watching her from Survivor. People, I can't get mad at her game. Even though people mad at her, and she's the type, supposedly, she was with some biracial female. She took, in real life, took his husband. Or they saying she cheated with some biracial female. I don't know. I guess she was also in reality shows. I don't know. But D the Cuban, they gonna be mad at these two. I'm telling you. They already expressing it. They're already expressing it. But see, I know what's up with D thinking about that money first. She'll play along with the white folks. I can't get too mad at her game. Even though it was also Devin's idea, but white America, they were supporting them. They voted them, giving them this power and all this stuff, even over. You got Lala, who made history. She still, every week, she has not yet been voted America's favorite. She ain't do nothing, cooking and cleaning in the house and everything. And he gonna go as far as talking about saying it to the other white contestants. Oh, Rick Devens, we could keep Lala and Taylor for cooking and cleaning in the house. They're gonna take it all out on these two right here. They're already doing it. I can go to the comment section. Yeah, that's what I wanted. You know, I'm like, well. And see, I'm glad that the black girl Taylor was not voted off, because I just knew. We just knew, like a Lipstick Alley. I was looking at their post. We knew, okay, they finna post, you know, she ain't do nothing, you know, they finna send her home. But I don't know, they claiming they finna do something Sunday. So guess what? They didn't cut off the live feeds. They cut off the live, because see, through the live feeds, where we could see them live 24/7, people have been seeing how they've been at. See, otherwise they can edit the show how they want, you know, let you see where you don't end up seeing the microaggressions, you know what I'm saying? The suspected racism. So they decided they're gonna cut off the live feeds until Sunday, right? They got something they're gonna do on Sunday, because they see how people responding. People are seeing what they're doing, the stuff that they saying, and people are. I don't know how they're able to watch this 24/7. I think that's kind of weird. But people have been catching where Drew's saying the things like we could keep Lala and Taylor for cooking and cleaning and stuff like that. So now they decide they're going to cut off the live feeds until Sunday. And they're going to do something on Sunday where one person, there's not going to be a head of household but one person going to be eliminated. Something they've never done in history. So I'm like, are they going to still try to get rid of Taylor and Lala somehow? Are they still, and some people, and like a Lipstick Alley, they think that it was rigged for Drew to win. But it's hard to see. Y'all ain't watching on top of myself. Man, this is what makes it difficult. Now, watch, they're going to be. Yeah, but y'all were all official white people. We're all with their little mosh pit alliance. A little mosh pit. Even though the white people, they're white now. They all crying. Barrett is crying. They're mad. They're going to take it all out on D and Drew. They're going to take it all out on them. Now, even though, you know, because they acting like they scared to go against the icons, America's favorite. They're not going to take it out. They're going to just take it out on the so-called Latinos, the so-called diversity. Hold on. Let me check. Let me see the comments. Y'all don't know what I'm talking about. Well, let me see. Where's the video at? Big Brother. Hold on. So I thought I saw something with a watch party. I just want to see. Let's see. Big Brother. Let's see what they got uploaded now. Live eviction. He liked. Oh, Mallory. But no, she took a dive. To let the Latino win the head of household. And she took a dive. And when she could have won the head of household, she took a dive and D ended up putting her ass on the. I think they rigged this. I think they. I just want to see the comments. Hey, I'm supposed to be on my other channel where I have no ads. I think they rigged this for him. So he was able to get off the block. So the vote was now left between D and Mallory. And yeah, they voted her off, and here she is sitting and talking. Yeah, after the show, they give her a standing ovation. They got the literally the worst case is scenario entertainment wise. Mallory for America's Favorite House Guest. So sad that I don't get to see a Mallory comic poster. Now the show will be so boring. Oh, white folks mad now. We want live feeds. Worst outcome. Oh, goodness. Yeah. Mallory is gone. I'm gone. See you guys at the finale. Mallory's eviction should be. I'm shocked that they're not go out. We wanted Drew out. No, Drew was y'all favorite. They were voting America's favorite. Drew won. Horrible. The racist. Oh, now they want to notice Drew is racist. Isn't this something? The racist Drew stays. Oh, now they want to notice it. No, we were just playing the card before. We wanted Drew out. His downfall will come soon enough. No matter what happens, only what? Oh, well, that was the way. It took me forever to get around to it. But, that's what, well. I didn't expect that because I was like, okay, the black girl gone. They finna vote her out. I did not expect that. I just knew it was. I knew it was the end of the road. I was like, goodbye. And look, and he crying. Lala, how you doing all that? Well, she just playing alone. Like, come on, Lala. Don't be doing all that. They wouldn't be crying for you like that, Lala. He's leaning on the black woman to cry because Mallory's gone. No, I don't like Grand Theft Auto. My husband just telling me that something's coming out. See, my husband still be sneaking and playing. We ain't supposed to be playing Grand Theft Auto, but he still be purchasing it. Cause I don't like you can just. I don't know. I just remember watching my friend's son was playing that. He was just taking people out. I didn't like that. I didn't like what I saw with that. Yeah, I don't like that. Where you could just, if you want to, just take people out. That turned me off. I understand why it's so popular. I just never got into it. But yeah, my husband just telling me recently it's supposed to be like this new release. I can see your husband got excited over it. Even though we ain't supposed to really be playing. Well, as long as it don't get into something like really demonic, then yeah, we can't play like if it's a demonic game. Trying to leave that alone. But yeah, I see people take these shows seriously. But see, D and Devins, they recognize she's a threat. So, they put race aside for a minute. Well, yeah, see, D, she'll play like, okay, we're all a part of the mosh pit. We're all a part of the, even though it was just as equally Devin's idea. And Angela was cool with it. But they're going to blame it all because D was the Latina. She was the head of household. It was her final choice to put Mallory on the block, even though Mallory trusted her and took a dive where she could have won the head of household. But see, D, she saw Mallory as a competition threat, more so than Taylor, the black female. But see, she was playing along with him. And they all, they all put their differences aside and got on code. And, and it's their white sweetheart who was sent home, Mallory, the underdog white girl Mallory has been sent home, and I guess white America's pissed now. But yo, they can't blame black females. Ain't had nothing to do with that. And now they're mad at Drew. They're mad at yeah, Drew didn't want to. He just went along with what D, the majority, said. Yeah. Now they're mad, and now they notice that Drew is a snake and a weasel and all of that. Mm-hmm. Probably thinking, see, we can't trust these ethnic Caucasians. Well. Let me go get out of here. Y'all have helped me because I was feeling like crap. Oh, just having a burger and my stomach was feeling crappy. But I had missed much of, fell asleep because I wasn't feeling good. Missed much of it. I woke up just in time to see, the live show with the Big Brother. So I had to come up here and I had some Pepto Bismol and I feel much better. But I realized I'm gonna have to do the little fasting thing. I don't. Every time I think I can go back to eating certain things, it just won't work with me. So really, it ain't even about a choice with me, dieting and all of that. I ain't got no choice. It ain't about wanting to look cute and all that no more. I have no choice because it's just like times I do want to just go back to just snacking when I felt I could just be snacking with my husband, and I be trying to get on him too, and we just be chilling and we wanted pizza. I just can't do this stuff no more. Can't do this stuff. Um, yeah, because I'm kind of, a big kid deep down. And I just, watch a regular show and just chilling and having popcorn and things like that. I just cannot do these things, though. Like, it's making me frustrated. It's reminding me of my age. And I'm getting so frustrated. Yeah, it's like, gosh, because a minute ago, my tummy was so upset. And I had a headache. And it was like, oh, this is frustrating. But you guys have helped me to feel so much better talking about cartoons and stuff. Even I know y'all don't watch Big Brother, but thank you for joining me. I feel a lot better. I don't know what weird stuff is going on with, of course, I don't want anybody, I hope I will say this. In a way, I'd rather believe that, it's a thing of maybe somebody lying about the whole thing with the mulatto pixie. Because, of course, I don't want to believe that anybody uh, is dealing with something that serious, like meningitis. Yeah, of course not. Because I know, I've learned how that can be really, really serious. Yeah. So, but I'm gonna take in consideration what Azor TV said. Yeah, because that's what I was kind of wondering. Greens, really? It's giving bad indigestion. I hope that never happens to me. Collard greens are my favorite veggie. Yeah, they're good for you, right? Yeah, I'm gonna hope. I would rather believe. Well, but then that's creep. That's even creepier. That people are really that crazy that they be lying about something like that. What the hell kind of people we dealing with then up in here? And see, y'all to believe that there are people encouraging that kind of crazy shit. But in a way, I'd have to prefer to believe that because, of course, I don't want to believe that somebody actually was trying to sex traffic somebody or that somebody actually is like really ill like that. Definitely ill, because that's crazy. Even though I know they wouldn't give a damn about me or even my family. But that's not me. That's just ain't in me to be that way. So yeah. Of course, friend. Of course. So yeah, I feel a lot better, but I know that it ain't over with. So I know I can't go back because every single time I try to eat or just it's not happening. It's not happening. It's like saying nope, we will not accept this. You cannot have a burger anymore. You cannot eat this. My stomach just ain't accepting it. So you know what? I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow and I'm going to do a little short. I'm going to, or I may, yeah, I'm gonna break this, whatever's going on with me. I'm finna get back on it. I, I'm finna get back on it. And I don't know what I'm doing. My friends contacting me for something, and my best friend getting really mad at me because I'm not getting back to her. And it's just, I can't explain. I just kind of don't want to meet people out of town now, you know? Not, I've had, just want to stay around my family and stuff. And it's not about them. I think it's just about me. But if I go to the gym, I'm gonna give y'all a little short or something because I think that those shorts and stuff were keeping me kind of motivated. I just didn't like doing that over here on that channel. So yeah, yeah, I know. I don't know how to explain it. I'm just kind of afraid to see people, because um, and I can't explain it. So I'll get back with y'all later. I feel so much better. And so much peace and much love, my family. Enjoy the rest of your evening.